No public comments.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. FNA meeting minutes from May are there to review. I have no questions on them. Are there any other questions on the prior meeting minutes? Okay, I have a motion to approve them.
So, second.
They've done both. Any public comment?
No public comments.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public comments at this time. Comments from the audience may be made on items not listed on the agenda that are of public interest in the subject matter jurisdiction of the district. The committee has a policy of limiting speakers to not more than 3 minutes. The committee cannot take action on items not listed on the agenda. Public input may be offered on an agenda item when it comes up for discussion and or action. Any public comments?
None.
All right, seeing nothing under E. Sorry, Donna. On to F. Back to the man.
Sure, I will keep this brief because the foundation is a little bit more streamlined here. So on page 6, just quick overview, incomes up about 141,000. Similar to what we've been reporting the last few months, primarily due to investment performance. Expenses are under budget, approximately 864,000, and our net income is showing $1 million over budget right now. We had budgeted a loss for the foundation, which we are showing a loss year to date of 326, but it's a lot less than what we anticipated when preparing the budget. I can answer any questions on that, but similar items I've reported in prior months.
So, the balance available for grants programs of 537. So we have, your words, we have more flexibility with the foundation. Okay, I'm selective in how I process information. So, with those anticipated needs that we have, is there anything that we could do with just understanding what I just shared with you? Any thoughts about how we could respond to that?
Is that for everybody?
I'm asking our experts here, they're dealing with the different parts of it. Of course, the financial part, the program, the community engagement that you're dealing with making sure that we're well within, policies and being there, like you said, how.
We still have the agreement with Fine Food Bank, right? To the end of
Yeah.
the season. So there's still funds.
There's really the two parts. I can answer the financial side of things and then elaborate. So financially, as far as the funds that are available, which with board direction could potentially go, the board wanted, assuming all the other elements are involved. So right now we have 710,000, which the board has previously designated for behavioral health. So unless that's approved to do something, it's there waiting for something to come up. So that could be, when the grants program opens up, if it's behavioral health, and we opted to use foundation behavioral health allocation as opposed to the district. That's been done in the past with those, but at this point, the board designation for those funds is the behavioral health. But from everything I understand, that could be changed with the board making action on it. We do currently have $965,000 of available funds that were just carried over. However, that's where the 500 of that's already noted for Fine Food Bank. We're still in the process. We haven't actually paid them anything yet. They've submitted us some invoices, but we're working with them to ensure that it's going towards the intended purpose, which was for the fresh fruits and vegetables. And so in that number you were bringing up, the 537 at the bottom, really of that, because our grant application period's already been closed, 25 of that really can't be used at this point, so we don't have any applications coming in. 46,000 of that was unexpended funds from prior grant. That kind of falls in the same thing. So really that 465, which is the remaining carryover after Fine Food Bank, is available for purchasing. But the potential limitations are, how do you go about that? I don't know if you have any feedback on, because our grant program is currently on pause until that opens up.
So I understand, the grant process, and like I said, we have, when I said at the last meeting, we all have to be aware that this is gonna be hard. And so, I wanna stay true to that, because I think we just signed on to this, and 1 month later, we cannot break, this plan to do it, but this is outside of the plan. And so this kind of opens up that, idea of, could we use this money without saying we're gonna, deviate or repurpose it and use it as small grants that organizations, fair to everybody, open it up, that they could actually, for urgent needs, that could be, some criteria that we could use this money to. I know we've done it in the past where we've responded to urgent needs, COVID,
Right.
food emergencies. So, just keeping that in mind right now is that I wanna hear what you have to say about that. Is that okay? Can we just explore that?
Yeah.
question?
Well, foundation is not outside of the plan. Foundation is still part of the strategic plan going forward, and so health systems amplifier. So we haven't really determined a goal we have with foundation. We're leaning more towards pillar 3, where the collective partnerships, and leveraging funding. We have used the foundation as a platform where we can get other funds coming in and then disperse them out as a valley-wide initiative addressing the problem, which we want, again, the data to show us what this problem is. So we're just hearing from one organization saying that there's a food scarcity or food problem. Where's the data to show that, for one thing? And number 2, we have that agreement with Fine Food Bank. And she has talked to Millie in the past that we can give you as much fruits and vegetables as you need. So I really don't want to just single out one.
I'm not, and this
grant.
is why I said fairness and that it would be open to everybody that meets a
But I
certain
don't-
criteria. I think I was being totally transparent when I said
Yeah.
what made me think about this. But I totally agree with you that it can't just be one. But if there's a transition period that we have to take into account, this is it. We're looking at possibly 6 to 12 months of not having any grants available.
12 months.
I don't know, I hope it's not, I really
Probably
do.
early January if that.
Because I think we were talking about that, we were kind of shooting for January.
If I may also too, you're not you particularly, but looking at the foundation as an alternative way to kind of get around something, the same thing that we did with this UCPP thing with the builder, the list of approved contractors, like you can't have 2 separate jobs to meet the criteria. And they were saying like you have one job and another job to 100,000 each to make up the 200,000. So, this is kind of like, okay, well, we've got money in the foundation. Why can't we just use that? I mean, we really, like we were saying, this would be a transition period. Maybe this is something for discussion. But we don't have a grant application process. We're going to be changing the grant application to what does it look like in forms? Are we going to get a new platform? We're going to go out for RFPs. We're going to continue with rolling grants, or we're going to continue with mini grants. Maybe the mini grants would be already purposed for something else. So like the IHP model, where the applicant organizations can apply for capacity building. That's IHP does that like once a year or twice a year. They open it up so organizations can apply. But there's a lot that we're still working on that because somebody's saying there's an emergency when there is a solution in that particular produce area.
Yeah, it's one organization so far, but like I said, and for full transparency, I revealed that conversation because it's not intended to be secret or anything. But this was something that I was thinking of during the last meeting when we adopted that strategic plan. I'm concerned about it because many organizations have used the district and have participated in the strategic plan, saying we want to be part of this because we need your district resources. And so as they have been participating, they're eagerly anticipating a grant, some funding opportunities. And we haven't said it publicly. It's not gonna happen for a
The
long
messaging
time.
is going out.
Okay, so there is that transition that organizations are going to have to start realizing that we're doing business different. And I don't want to break, and I'm just one vote, so I'm just saying how I feel, that I don't want to be that one that is going to weaken this foundation that we are working hard. Okay, I don't want to do that. And I said this before, I have to just keep focusing on the end goal, the data, that what we're trying to build on there.
Would it be worth bringing it back, just for discussion, because I know we're still working on some things, but to ensure that, because I understand, and I guess was the vote to cut all grant funding until January, did you say?
It was the board
remember
direction
that.
that we would
Right.
close the grant
Mhm.
process March 1st. So
Okay.
that's when we need 38 organizations coming in totally over
We
18
didn't
million.
decide a date,
Right,
but we're
right,
kind of all thinking it
Okay.
would be at least to
Yeah.
allow staff to
Mhm.
kind of understand and come up with a plan. So we're kind of all just thinking it might be January.
It may be worth, just giving your point, and the concern, having that discussion again about what could that look like, potentially for the foundation, for emergency things that come up, maybe of this nature or of a different nature. Like, it may be worth it so that we're not back and forth coming every other month, because other things will come up. And then it's gonna be like, oh, okay, so if we have, because these situations will present themselves, so if we have a plan in mind for, okay, we're gonna put aside a certain amount, just through the foundation that can be approved in an emergency by the board. Okay, fine, those are the things we can continue to do whilst the rest of it is on. I'm just making sure that that change, while wanting to stay in line with what the plan is fully understood. Or things, it's gonna keep coming back and coming back and coming back, and, not for a bad purpose, like it's for the right thing, because the orgs, they need the support, things are happening. But I think it would be useful, maybe to have bring back the conversation with some proposals about what it could look like.
And that's why I
is it
started
just
the
zero?
conversation,
Yeah.
because if I don't ask the questions, I don't
Mhm.
know, okay? And all of this, when this kind of has just been kind of just developing during this meeting.
Yeah.
The information that you're sharing helps me then ask the what if questions. So don't take this as like, oh, here she goes, trying to weaken. I'm not, but I'm just trying to understand it, so that we could see if there is a way that we could actually work it in a different way. If there isn't, then I at least did my duty as a community representative to explore it and to go back, and as I'm anticipating, there will be others.
No, I'm sure.
Okay,
they will.
and so I
July
think
1st,
we-
they're gonna be knocking on the door.
Exactly, okay.
The messaging, I believe, is
And so
going
being
out on Monday,
proactive-
by the way, with the FA.
What's your-
grant
Being
FAQ.
proactive about it, I think it's, we kind of knew that this was gonna happen, but we haven't come, and if you putting out that notice, then are we just gonna say no, 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 no? Or should we look at, is there a transition plan that we could use, considering that we do have this funding available? So, there. Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. More district related things in foundation. I think we have to be careful how we handle that, I don't think we can just be giving appearance of giving money away. I think we have to stay very process oriented, even when there's a need. I think we've got our job is trying to find outlets for everybody to get the need. It may just not be giving them money, may give them access to food or whatever else. I just think we have to be very careful at this time about how the money moves,
Right. And I did just want to bring forward one.
even though there's a need.
Yeah.
Definitely well recognized.
That legislative policy committee meeting is tomorrow, and because it is legislative and it's HR1, and also California is very tied to HR1, the big beautiful bill. I was going to bring forward a concept for discussion, that legislative policy, to start collecting data in that respect, possibly putting out a survey
Mhm.
to our grantees and rural nonprofit organizations. How do you see HR1 federal side, California side affecting your nonprofit, your organization?
Do you even know how it might affect it? It may just be, I don't know.
Yeah, but there's, with the, looking at how developing a survey, there's some really intricate questions that can be asked.
Good,
to
yeah.
get that information. And from there, you know, then we have the data coming in, we have survey results, we'll have need maybe documented, and maybe there is something we can do, I don't know.
I like that, taking that strategy of asking the question to then figure out what are the top priorities, because 500,000 or 460,000 isn't gonna be enough. So at prioritizing, but to do something, to explore ideas of how can we do this, how can we be fair, how can we address it in a way that is manageable, but also, with a plan, a mini plan. Okay, we have the big plan, but a mini plan that we could use the money that we have available.
And I think this is a good example of how we need caps on grants. We blew through the district grant funds
I agree.
fast. And the little guy is always the one that gets left out, the leader is
There's nothing
company.
left over.
There's nothing left for them. So I think
Remember,
that,
we're not gonna be doing a reactor grant.
I know.
Thank
But
God.
I'm saying even with the new process, I think there's need to be a cap, because there's a perfect example of how.
We've talked about this the second time or third time we brought up this year about.
No, there's different arguments. I agree with you in some respect,
Yeah,
that respect,
sure.
but then again, if we're seeing the data coming in that that we really wanna make a, amplifier change, or we may need to put $5 million towards this one particular thing where we're gonna utilize our grantees as our partners to make our mission move. Not,
Correct.
not making their programs work,
Yeah.
but they're using their programs to make our mission move.
Well, because we have, and we hopefully have it data driven, like we're doing
Right.
this and we're seeking this because we see the
Right.
problem and this is how we think best to solve that problem. I agree.
Like if a grant came in and said, okay, I have a process where I can bring in 50 brain surgeons. Well, maybe the data shows we don't need 50 brain surgeons, but we do need 50 primary care doctors. Is your program flexible to that, to make that change?
So being proactive, yeah, on the big plan, but I really like your idea, and I don't know how we can move that forward. Just giving you support at the next board meeting, to do a survey to
Well, that
prioritize.
brings you legislative policy
Okay.
because it is,
And I'm actually gonna
legislative
be there this
type of
month, so.
yeah, it is
So
legislative, so
good.
to speak, yeah.
It's a good thing to bring
But
up.
it gives you a chance to think about it some more and give us a little bit more of your insight as to how this could work or why it could not work. Some of the things that like I said, I didn't think about
Mhm.
this until just yesterday when I got the message saying that she did reach out to Alejandro and is there anything I can do to help? And I said, I don't know, I don't know
Yeah.
all the ins and outs of Alejandro, because if Alejandro is not telling you no, then there's a problem here.
Well, and to your point, July 1st, our new budget starts, and the board approved $10 million in grants, so they're like, okay, why are you sitting on us? $10 million.
So that's what they're gonna be
That's going
asking.
on, So.
That's what they're gonna be asking, the 7 of us.
Son always asks for money too. As if. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, but thank you for that discussion, and yeah, we'll continue, board member Smith said, that we can continue the discussion to hear more thoughts about it. Mhm.
Thank you. Anything else we have? I don't think we have any public comments at this time.
Did we vote on it?
Oh, it is an action item.
Okay, I'll move approval.
Oh, all right, I just have one question, one last one, this one's for you, Al. On the, so for the attendees to the, oh, the wellness clinics, so we're also providing gift cards
Yes.
for everybody who is seen?
Yes.
Okay,
For each service received.
for each service received,
Yes.
okay, so one person could receive multiple. Okay.
How much is it for?
$25 gift card to Target. It's a good incentive, and we get only good feedback from the participants. Obviously, they're coming in for, to receive the service. There's a likelihood that there is, underserved, low income, and $50 and we hear it all the time. This is a great incentive. Thank you. It's very helpful.
Great expense.
So we hope to continue that moving forward. Incentives, research shows, when we started this during COVID, where there was a lot of hesitancy of taking, the test or even the vaccine. And we started incorporating, and there was some data from Harvard, that I shared, I think at that time, that Dr. Vendel because he was questioning why we were doing it, and there was really good data out there about, how incentives really work.
So keep giving for the eyes too.
The eyes is that they get a free pair of glasses. They get, oh yes, they got, yeah, and our spokesperson, our new spokesperson, Angie, came to today, or last week to do the vision screening, so she got readers and a nice pair of, business glasses. So, so yes, those two, programs continue. Great.
So a motion to approve the finances.
So moved.
Any public comments on the finances?
No public comments.
All in favor?
Aye.
I see no other matters. Any other committee member comments? Move to adjournment. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, I got.
Yeah, I see a stack.
Fun for,
Stack.
Oh, it's very cool.
Hold thread.